Hi, I'm Ruth, and welcome to Demystifying Child's Play, the podcast where we make sense of what's really going on in your child's play so parenting can feel a whole lot more connected and a lot less confusing. This video is part 7 of our 10-part series exploring the top 10 play schemas, and today we're diving into the rotation play schema. If you live with a child who loves spinning, twisting, turning taps, watching wheels, or making themselves dizzy on repeat, you're in the right place. What you're about to hear is taken directly from the Play Schemas Collective membership. It's a sneak peek into the video library where I help parents understand the deeper why behind their child's play and learn how to work with it, not constantly fight against it. In this video, you'll learn what rotation play actually is, why it shows up so strongly in toddlers and preschoolers, and how it links with other schemas like trajectory. And most importantly, why this kind of play is doing some seriously important work in your child's developing brain. If you want to dive into all of the top 10 play schemas, head to playschemas.com/free where you'll find my freebie stash. That's playschemas.com/free. Let's get into it. Let's start at the very beginning, the very best place to start. When we talk about play schemas, we're talking about the repeated patterns of behaviour that children use to explore the world and make sense of it. These aren't random actions. They're definitely not children just mucking around. They're the brain's way of learning. The rotation play schema is one of the 10 most commonly observed play schemas in early childhood, and it's about how children are exploring by turning, spinning, twisting, and using circular movement, either with objects, with tools, or with their own bodies. So if you have a child who loves spinning around until they're dizzy, twisting swings up at the playground, turning taps on and off, or obsessing over wheels, lids, or anything that rotates, congratulations, you're watching the rotation schema in action. And honestly, once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Okay, what does rotation actually mean in play? In the simplest form, the rotation schema is all about how things move in circles. Children exploring this schema are fascinated by things that turn, spin, twist, and movements that go around and around and around and around. It's probably one of the most sickening of the schemas, especially if you, as an adult, get motion sickness like me. But if you go no further, please know not to stop them. It is good for them on so many levels. We'll be covering why in this video, as well as some more across the other modules. So this might look like rolling themselves across the floor, rolling and chasing hula hoops, winding and unwinding string, or watching objects spin over and over again. And while it can look repetitive, and it is, or even chaotic or sickening from the outside, from a child's perspective, it is deeply focused, meaningful, and it's exploration. They're not just spinning for the sake of it, they are learning. Okay, where does rotation fit within the 10 play schemas? Because rotation doesn't exist on its own. It sits in the wider framework of the 10 play schemas, which together describe the main ways children explore movement, space, materials, and relationships. Rotation is one of those movement-based schemas. It's very closely linked to another key schema, the trajectory schema. So trajectory is all about movement through space, throwing, dropping, pushing, watching things fly or fall. Rotation is about what happens when the movement turns on itself. So instead of straight lines, children become interested in curves, circles, spirals, and twists. This is a very busy play schema cluster. So continuing on that thought, let's touch on the link between rotation and trajectory schemas. And as I've said, it's incredibly common for children to explore rotation and trajectory at the same time. This is especially true for toddlers and preschoolers. For example, a child might roll a ball down a slope. That's trajectory, but then they spin it in place, or they're fixated on watching how the ball rolls down. That's the rotation. They might throw a hula hoop, which is trajectory, but then they may chase it and watch it as it rolls. That's rotation. They may twist a swing. That's rotation, and then release it and watch it go through space. That becomes trajectory again. This overlapping interest is not accidental. It's their brains building knowledge foundations through play schemas. Okay, next we're going to look at schema clusters and coordination of learning. When children explore more than one schema at a time, we call this a schema cluster, or the coordination of schemas. This is where the learning really deepens. Early childhood researcher Kathy Nutbrown explains that while younger children may focus on one schema at a time, as children grow, their learning becomes more sophisticated through the coordination and connection of multiple schemas. So in simple terms, children start linking ideas together. They're beginning to understand not just what happens, but why it happens. Rotation combined with trajectory lays a foundation for later concepts such as all of them, mathematics, science, engineering, even physics, and early manipulation of their muscles. all from spinning, rolling, turning, and play. Okay, so why does rotation often show up in toddlers and preschoolers? Rotation tends to become particularly visible from about 8 months of age, where babies are rolling, reaching, tracking moving objects with their eyes and bodies if they're linking their rolling together or crawling. From there, it often intensifies during toddlerhood, where children gain more control over their bodies and begin to actively seek more movement. And importantly, rotation doesn't just disappear. It can remain active in different forms right through preschool and beyond, especially as children explore tools and simple machines, engage in mark making and drawing. They might learn dance routines and circle games, and they begin to understand shapes and symmetry. So if they're busy rotating all the time and you're wondering, shouldn't they have grown out of this by now? The answer is probably no. Same with playing through all the schemas. They're still building something important, and they're building a deeper and deeper and a deeper understanding of it. Okay, so what are they learning through this rotation play? We've touched on this a lot already. When children are exploring the rotation schema, they're learning about cause and effect. What happens when I turn this faster or slower? Force and motion. How much effort is needed to make something spin? Visual tracking. Following movement with their eyes. Body awareness. Noticing how spinning affects how they feel. And spatial awareness. Understanding curved paths and circular space. Just going through that list really gets me excited, and excited that you're here, because play teaches all that and more. And since you're here, you get it. So from your kids, I want to say thank you for spending this time to learn about play and investing in them at this young age. Okay, back to my notes. Over time, this learning becomes more abstract as children begin to notice circles, objects, spirals, and curved lines in their drawings and in their constructions. They start to grasp the idea that circles have no beginning and end, which is a surprisingly complex concept that underpins later mathematical thinking and science thinking. Okay, now this is a really important part. As with all the schemas, reframing problem behaviours. Rotation play can often be labelled as silly, distracting, overstimulating, or attention-seeking. But when we understand play schemas, we can confidently reframe those behaviours into developmentally appropriate learning. A child spinning in circles isn't trying to be disruptive. A child twisting every knob they see isn't just being naughty. A child obsessed with wheels isn't stuck. They're learning in the way that their brain needs them to learn right now. Which leads on, why is this important for you to understand as parents? When us as parents understand the rotation play schema, everything shifts. You stop thinking, how do I make this stop? And start asking, how can I support this safely and meaningfully? You gain confidence, you reduce those power struggles, and you begin to see your child's play, even the messy, busy, repetitive bits, as purposeful and valuable. And that's exactly what I'm here to support. Okay, that's enough for this video. In the next sections, we'll look at what rotation play looks at different ages and stages, how to support it safely, and how to create simple opportunities for it, even in small shared spaces. Because once you understand rotation, you can stop fighting it and start working with it. And as always, don't forget you can ask Archie the Archives King all things rotation, and if you can't answer, just flick me a DM or comment below, ensuring you tag @Ruth Birko so I don't miss it. Okay, I'll see you in one of the next videos.